So welcome. Good afternoon, family. Welcome to TXTV News, where we shine the light on what matters most. I'm Stacey L.
And I'm Anson. Tonight we're diving deep into policies and decisions that are impacting everyday people, from national bills to new Georgia laws to striking city workers in Philly. Let's get into it. So we're going to start with the regressive tax changes favoring the wealthy. We're going to segue into the disproportionate burden on the poor and the working class. So that's another thing that we're looking into. We're also talking about the deep cuts to SNAP and Medicaid, which are making a lot of noise in the communities today, in our community especially, and what that means for real people. Like, what is SNAP, cutting the SNAP and Medicaid? What's your thoughts on it? Stacey, you want to start with the SNAP and Medicaid?
Yeah, sure. We can get right to that. So with the SNAP cuts, what we have been going over was the deep cuts to SNAP and Medicaid. And this is what we had found on theguardian.com. The bill slashes hundreds of billions from SNAP food stamps and Medicaid, imposing stricter work reporting requirements and shifting much of the cost to the state. The CBO and Yale Budget Lab estimate that millions, including veterans, foster youth, and working adults, could lose benefits or face reduced access. Now, we understand, a lot of people that are low in the low poverty area is on SNAP, medical assistance, and they have the food stamps. Now, the concern about this is that when it can't be a concern now because he already wrote the bill into play, right, Anson?
Yep. It's been written into play just last Thursday.
So this is my thing with that. Like, okay, you're cutting the SNAP and you're cutting the Medicaid. Now, when people are hungry and they cannot get no health care, then what? So what is it that this telling me that you want people to actually decease or be unalive or actually die because they won't have food stamps or Medicaid for any health or food, to provide them through their days of living now. So actually, when he put this bill in place, it's just telling the people that are on welfare or that use SNAP and that use Medicaid that he does not give 2 cents about them and that he really don't care about their well-being. So what do you say about this, Anson?
Well, I approached it in a different way. I wanted to understand the angle that the White House was coming from. So one of the things I'm going to do today is quote some of the things that I'm reading from the whitehouse.gov website. So this is coming straight from the responses that we have from the White House. So I pulled this, and this says this myth is that SNAP is being gutted and cutting food stamps for families, causing them to go hungry. So they're saying it's a myth at the White House right now. And so they're saying this is a fact. This is the fact that they're using to back this up. The one big beautiful bill protects the strengthenings of SNAP. Right now, almost 3/4 of able-bodied adults without dependents on SNAP have no earned income, and the fraud rate is high. So that sentence is just saying that there are people on food stamps that can work and that aren't working. And they're saying that's fraud. They're calling it fraud. If you're not working, you're in between jobs, you don't deserve food stamps. That's what they're saying to me. Because if I lose my job and I get laid off tomorrow, and if I'm in that low income bracket, then I don't get food stamps. And, and that's the direction they're going with this. They want to make it to where you are so bad off, where you're such in a situation where you have nothing, we're going to give you food stamps in that case.
So what do you think this is speaking to the community? So my thing is, what is it that's going to shed the light, or what can we do to make things changes? I understand about voting and the different people that are in the housing and in the Senate that passes the laws and be able to get this passed. But what can we do now? Because now this is in effect. He already signed the bill on July the 4th that Medicaid and SNAP benefits will be cut. So what is it that we can do now?
Well, one thing we can hold our constituents responsible. They voted on the bill. They voted yes. These people that we vote into Senate, into House that wrote the bill, we could actually, when it's time to reelect those officials, we need to go back in there and look at who voted no or who voted yes to the big beautiful bill. Who voted no? Those are people that had the food stamp groups in most in care. They understood that there are some people that are in between jobs. They're not working at the time. There's high unemployment in certain areas of the United States. There are less jobs available, and for those people that are going through something, that are not able to work right now, that are looking for a job in between jobs, that are underskilled. They are underskilled workers. They are in school. These people are in school. They probably get food stamps. If you're in college and you're not being, or if you're in if you've been in an orphanage all your life and you come out of and you're working at McDonald's, you need food stamps most likely. So to me, to take this provision away is the worst way. It says that I hate the work and we haven't even touched on the working poor. There's a group of people that are working that qualify for food stamps. That isn't even so. There's less funds in this program. There's less people that are eligible. There's less people, and they said able-bodied adults, but I didn't see any legislation that said that you had to be able-bodied. From my understanding, is you need a job.
Right.
It didn't say that if you were. It didn't say to what level of disability that you have. So disabled individuals, they don't get jobs that easily.
Right.
I don't see people rushing to hire people who have walking disabilities, who have talking disabilities, seeing disabilities. Those people have the hardest time getting jobs. So if I have to spend my money, my hard-earned tax money, that's where I want it to go. I don't want it to go to a tax break for the rich. I don't want it to go to for a flight that, for Air Force One to go across the world to meet with Kim Jong-un or something. I'm not happy about spending more money to do that than spending more money for our poor. I think there needs to be something in place. And just because you're not working, I don't think that's a good reason to cut my SNAP benefits.
Right. So what this means for real people is that for real people, this bill means less food, fewer health care options, higher costs. Working families may lose vital support while the wealthy get bigger tax breaks, widening the gap and making everyday life harder for those already struggling. So the people that really is going to affect is the poor. And I think the middle class is going to have to pick up the weight for paying out more for the rich to be wealthier, right? Am I saying that right, Anson?
You're saying it right. And to add to that, the fact that the White House is doubling down. They're saying, hey, there's people committing fraud. These poor people, these people that that don't work, that they're committing fraud by, not by taking food stamps. And I disagree. What's our next topic? Let's move on to the.
I disagree too as well, Anson. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after that. Next coming up, we're gonna be talking about some of the Georgia laws that just came in play that we should know about. It's about 100 of them. We'll be right back after this. Do you need a creative and professional flyer design, or maybe a unique logo design or website design? Call Awesome Flyers 770-765-5486. They will make your brand look good. They create and design professional promo videos, commercials, flyers, t-shirts, logos, just to name a few. Call Awesome Flyers today, 770-765-5486, or visit their website, awesomeflyers.com. Let them make your brand look good. Call today, 770-765-5486. So welcome back. And before we went to break, we was talking about the big beautiful the big beautiful bill. And I said law, right? But the big beautiful bill, and we was talking about the SNAP and the Medicaid that's going to be destroyed. Actually, people is not going to really get it. They I don't even know when it's going to take effect of them actually cutting the program or laying back. But he signed the bill July the 4th, and it's on the record, so that will be coming down the pipe soon. Now, next up, we have about Georgia laws. These came in effect. Was it July the 1st? I believe it's 100 laws that came in effect July the 1st, and I just picked out about 5 of them that we're going to discuss on air. But look, everyone, please go out and research this stuff so you can be able to see what is going on in your community and how you will survive it all. At least you'll be aware and understanding of what's going on, so you won't get caught out there, without not even understanding what is actually going down. So I had picked out 5 things that we should discuss about the Georgia laws that are now. So the first one I had on the list is the digital IDs accepted. Digital driver's license on phones are now official. Law enforcement can scan but not browse phone content. Really? The second one is wrongful conviction payouts. Formerly incarcerated can now receive up to $75,000 per year served. Really? Okay, let me read the rest of them. Fair pay for disabled workers. Employers can now no longer pay sub-minimum wages. Everyone must earn at least the federal minimum. That's good for the disabled. Cell phones are now banned in schools. Elementary and middle school students must tuck away smartphones during the school day. Okay, I understand that. Distractions. Adult site age verification. Adult websites must verify age with government IDs, and some have blocked Georgia access. So now, when you go on these websites, the adult websites now, they're gonna scan your ID for you to be able to get access. Wow, right? So, but let me go back one, guys. I want to go back one. I want to talk about this one with about the Georgia law that just passed with the 75,000. Listen, if you're get incarcerated, right, and you was wrongfully incarcerated, you're going to get 75,000 for each year you was incarcerated. My question is this: why would they put that in a bill if people are not getting wrongfully incarcerated? So they just telling on themselves, letting you know that, yes, we do this. Yes, we do incarcerate people not knowing the truth, not getting the evidence. We do wrongfully incarcerate. What you think about this, Anson?
Yeah, this one is a big one. They put a cap on it, 75,000. So we think about when you think about restitution for being in jail for 20 or 30 years, you see big payouts. You see payouts in the upper millions, 45, 50 million dollars, where that person basically losing their livelihood. Now they've capped it. So if you've been in jail for 30 years and you take 30, that's only about $250,000. You can't even get $250,000 anymore. That's it. That's it. They took your life. They took 30 years of your life. There's people out there that's been in jail for 30 years, came out, sued, and got millions. You can't even get $250,000 now when they capped it. Now, I was looking at the way they wrote the bill, and I was trying to see if the cap was just capped on the 75,000 for the attorney fees. But was that and clarify for me, Stacey, in your slide. And actually, I'm reading it here. For each year of incarceration, 75,000, provided that a prorated amount shall be allocated to any partial year of incarceration. An additional 25,000 while awaiting a sentence of death based on the conviction at an issue, provided that the prorated amount shall be allocated at a partial year of incarceration. So one of the things I was thinking about when they added this to the bill, it says the reasonable and necessary attorney fees, costs, expenses incurred by the claimant or the claimant's on the claimant's behalf. Now, attorney fees and costs, that makes sense, and expenses. But what about my missed work, which maybe is rolled into costs? What about me losing my job? If I made $200,000 a year and I lost my job, and I get out 15 years later, the industry has changed. I don't have the same. I need more training. I don't have the experience. I lost all my experience because I had that job 15 years ago. And then on top of that, I can only sue for 15 or 75,000 a year. So I'm gonna make 1 year's worth of income if I make 250,000 a year for 15 years.
Right. I think it's a slap in the face. Now, because they're trying to cap it, because look how many, but this is my thing. My question is, by them bringing this law out, Georgia is actually telling on itself, saying that they have a lot of people that are locked up, that are wrongfully locked up by them saying this. Mm-hmm. This is a problem. Come on, Georgia. This is a problem. This is, y'all just telling on yourself that y'all actually had people, for you to even come out here to put a cap on someone being wrongfully incarcerated, right? So now, what are y'all gonna do now? So watching the days coming, people, watching the days coming, how many people get out of jail from being wrongfully incarcerated. Watch for the days coming. I'm telling you, it's coming, because they wouldn't write a law in effect and letting people know, oh, we're gonna put a cap on it, because they must have a whole lot of cases on the docket that says that these people are wrongfully incarcerated and they need to be released. It's just telling on themselves. I'm telling you, I'm getting pissed off to just keep talking about it, but that is so sad. That is so sad. So how many people lost their whole dignity of life? Because when you get locked up, they incarcerate you, and when you get out, you are still incarcerated at the age of when you was incarcerated. I mean, you come out with the mindset of the age of when you was incarcerated, so you lost all that time, and for you to put $75,000 on my life that I lost is a slap in the face.
You know, another thing this brains raises to is these ICE incarcerations. They're going out and they're incarcerating real American citizens. That is what we have been hearing time and time again in the news and in feedback from the different news stories that we see. Now, if you think about it, if they're going out and they're incarcerating people incorrectly, those people have a right to sue when they come out of that group. When they come out of jail, they're like, oh, well, I didn't gain due process. I was wrongfully incarcerated through the Immigration Act. ICE picked me up, and I actually had ID. I actually am a citizen of the United States, and and you're getting sent off. Some people, they were saying they were getting sent off to Guantanamo, and they were a citizen, and da 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 da. Well, if that happens, and this law applies to that, now they can only sue for $75,000. They've lost everything. No job lets you come back after you've been gone for 2 or 3 weeks. No, you haven't paid your rent or your mortgage. So your rent, if you're renting in Georgia and where we're at in Atlanta, Georgia, your stuff is on the within 2 weeks or within 3 weeks after your due date, you're gonna have your stuff out on the side of the road. So think about it. My rent is due on the 1st. If I don't pay on the 5th, it's late. By the 10th, there's a dispossessory warrant out. That's where they file a warrant to kick you out. And then by the 15th, usually another 10 or 15 days later, they file another injunction to have the sheriff come and kick you out. And so your stuff is sitting out. And then once the sheriff brings a staff to kick your stuff out, then it's open season for you to get your stuff. So if ICE is incarcerated me for false pretenses of me being within that, which they're just doing. They don't need president to do it. They just can go out and say, hey, this is what we're doing to incarcerate these people because they are illegal aliens. So to me, this is definitely a slap in the face. We, again, write your constituents, pay attention to who voted for this. Who voted for this? So who voted to cap off the amount of money that somebody can receive when they've been incarcerated or when their livelihood has been taken?
Yeah. So we're moving right along, guys. But make sure you drop your comments in the comment section. What do you think about this 75,000 or the 100 laws that just came in place on July the 1st? Tell me your comments in the comment section. Go ahead and drop your comments. We read all comments. Next time we air, we'll go back over it. But we definitely gonna, keep you aware of what's going on in Georgia since we stay here, and also in other parts of the world as well. So coming up, we're talking about the Philadelphia workers over 3% raise, guys. Listen, over 3% raise. Look, we'll be right back after this commercial. We're going to be talking about it. Do you need a creative and professional flyer design, or maybe a unique logo design or website design? Call Awesome Flyers 770-765-5486. They will make your brand look good. They create and design professional promo videos, commercials, flyers, t-shirts, logos, just to name a few. Call Awesome Flyers today, 770-765-5486, or visit their website, awesomeflyers.com. Let them make your brand look good. Call today, 770-765-5486. Welcome back. Before we went to the break, we was talking about the 100 laws that came in effect July the 1st in Georgia. Please go ahead and do your research so you can make sure that what is going on in Georgia, you'll stay aware of so you won't get caught up in any mess. But now up is our Philadelphia workers strike over 3% raise. Yes. Anson, you want to take the lead?
Yeah, I can take the lead on this. So some of the things that we have documented and this is Mayor Parker's 3% raise offer. And a lot of the employees are like, hey, it's just not enough. What is 3%? I mean, if you make $40,000 a year, 3 times 4, that's $1,200 a year. That equates to about what is that? About $100 a month. $100 a month. And you can only imagine the cost of living there. The increase in groceries is at an exponential amount. The just the increase of cost of living alone has been debilitating for especially the low income people. But we're talking about specifically the Philadelphia workers. I was looking at the amount of workers they had in March, which was 790,000 workers. And now they're down to 750,000. So did they lay 40,000 people off? I don't know. Did they have a mass walkout and mass quitting where everyone quit? Or did they fire 40,000 people from the strikes? I don't know. But right now on staff, they have 740,000 from what I was reading. And, just some of the feedback says union says it's not enough. Average salary is $46,000. $46,000. Did we look at the poverty line?
I know, but look how many people are affected. So, listen, guys, we putting a spotlight on this because the whole Philadelphia, they unionized it. I was trying to capture some of the videos so I can get it up on here. Maybe next time we come back on air, I'll be able to have a better clip for you all. But 9,000 workers in the union walked off that job because of the mayor saying she gave them 3%, but it's supposed to be over years, because I know Anson did mention that it should have been like some type of yearly plan, but hey, what is 3% though? And so this affected the sanitation workers, the 911 operators, it affected all the government workers, so dispatchers, clerks, everybody that was that work in the government, the city government in Philadelphia affect them. So 9,000 of them, congratulations to you all for walking off and standing together for something. But this is really, the mayor should take light to this, that the city is tired. People are tired. People are tired of working for a system that is not actually paying them enough to be able to live and sustain themselves in this world. Come on now. Come on. But the main thing that I wanted to spotlight on is because Philadelphia, y'all are setting an example of how you all stick together to get results. So now the trash is piling up so badly. If y'all go out and Google the images, the trash is piling up so badly over there. I couldn't get. This is just this is just a picture of them striking and a picture of some trash, but it is piling up. I think this is actually day 6 or day 7. That it is piling up over there. It's a mess. Just imagine living in a community that you come out walking out your front door and a pile of mess or a pile of trash. So you're going to start having rodent problems. You're going to start having bugs. You're going to start having animals that's going to start coming to these different areas, which will cause a problem. But I commend you all, Philadelphia. Shout out to Philadelphia Union that is actually putting in the work and sticking together and is voicing their voice. They're making that voice heard, that they are tired of it. They tired of working for underpaid. They tired of working for these little things. Y'all keep promising us raises and will not give us a raise. They're just tired. People are tired. So when people get tired, they start doing something about it. What you say about this, Anson?
Yeah, that you hit it dead on the nose. I agree with all of your assessments. The Philly community has spoken. They have demanded more pay, and people are listening right now. I want to throw a few numbers at you. I pulled up the living wage calculator for Philly County, and this is coming from livingwage.mit.edu. So this is MIT numbers. So the living wage for one adult is $43 an hour. That means that you need to make $43 an hour to take care of one child.
Mm.
Now, the minimum wage in that state is $7.25 an hour. The poverty wage is $10.17 an hour. Now, just think about this. The average salary of a person in that union is, what was it, 48,000 on your slide stay, or 43?
It was actually what is it? On that slide it was like 45. Let me pull it up real quick. Oh, not that you talking about the other side. I didn't have a number on here of the average worker, but that was for the state of that was for the SAP. You remember they made $45, but I don't know how much. Whatever you just pulled up, that's the number.
Yeah, so I was looking at we saw that the average salary within that union was about 45,000, give or take 1,000. And so if you're thinking about $43 an hour, that's about $42,000 a year. They're making, with union representative, enough to take care of one child on one salary. So that's with two adults in the house. I'm sorry, that's with one adult in the house with making living wage. They need to make $43 an hour. And they're making $48,000, which is like right at $44 an hour. They're barely making living wage. They're barely making it. The majority of the 790,000 people are barely making it. So to me, this is an extension of what is going on across the United States, where we have these living wages, we have these poverty wage line that's way below living wage, and then we have even that minimum wage that our constituents, our senators and our House representatives refuse to put up in as a vote. And if they know that they put minimum wage at a vote, that pushes the poverty wage up, that pushes the living wage up. Now, I don't want to push the living wage up, but I want to bring people more compliant in those areas. I want to bring people closer to the living wage who have regular jobs. If you work 40 hours a week, you should be able to live. You've worked all your work week. If you work, you shouldn't have to work 60 hours to make a living wage. You shouldn't per week. That's crazy. So just hats out to Philly County. Hats off to them standing up, but they have a long fight ahead of them. The union groups, they don't always have the leverage they need. They have the leverage right now. So right now, they are not picking up trash in that area, and some key 911 services are overloaded. And if you look at the crime in Philly, this is contributing to crime. Look, your income, if you have low income and you have not much, and you're looking at other people who have a lot, this increases it makes it more likely that these groups of people will go out and try to live, try to get what they need to live, and not giving them options is making it even worse. 3%. Hey, Philly, you need to tighten up.
Yeah, you need to go back to the drawing board and look.
Go back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
look at it, rearrange. But here's the kicker. Here's the biggest part of that corruption. She gave her cabinet great raises. That's what they were talking about. She gave her cabinet great raise. She gave the people that worked around her great raises. Then when she went to the negotiating table with the union, she gave them 3%. And 3% of 40,000 is like $100 a month. What am I going to do with an extra $100 a month? I get an extra $100 worth of groceries, which goes in 2 days. Here in Atlanta, it goes fast.
Yeah.
So to me, the best thing I could say for them is to go back to the drawing board. You agree, Stacey?
Yes, I agree, and I feel Philly, thank you for setting an example of how we can stick together and make something happen here. And this is what we have to do across the whole board, guys. We have to come together and put our differences to the side so we can stick to make something happen in our communities. If you want your voice to be heard, if you want something changed in your atmosphere or where you at, you gotta band together. It's better in numbers than doing it by yourself, because you see, when you're in numbers, you get heard. If you stick together and we can do a power move, it can be a power move. Let's put this indifferences and you this and you that aside, and let's all come together on one main chord, one accord, to get something done in our communities, and your voice will be heard, because more people in a group will be heard more faster than one person standing alone. So we got to understand how to bring together, come together to make your voice heard. And what they're doing out there in Philly, shout out for you all for sticking together and actually coming together, because it takes a group. It takes more than one person to come together to make it heard and make it clear and make it loud, to let you know that we're not standing for this anymore. We want to be paid our worth. We work long and hard out here for you, the government, to get your work done, but yet you can't pay us on the other end. Come on now, we gotta stop it somewhere. We have to stop that somewhere. Tonight, guys, I thank you for all tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to Total Exposure TV YouTube channel, because we'll be on here giving you different things that are happening in the world, worldwide. We just not staying in Georgia or Philly. We're going to be capturing the news that come to us. And if you have something that, has sparked out to you, make sure you go ahead and email us at getexposure@txtvnetwork.com. I will put all the information in the description. But look, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And guess what? You see here on the screen, it says join TXTV network community. We have a phenomenal community that has just been built out on WAP. Total Exposure TV has a community. Look, it's going to be actually a group for TXTV network. So like, if you heard our show and you want to join our community, it's free to join. The link will be under here to join our WAP community, and you can voice your concerns in that group as well. And if you see any news breaking or late breaking and you want us to know and you want us to air it, go ahead and share that with us as well. Put it right there in the group or in the community. If you cannot email, we're going to listen out for it and look out for it. We definitely going to capture it on our next show or whenever we air again. So go ahead and join our community. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear from you all. But I'm thank you for all for tuning in and staying this long, because I was trying to make the segments 30 minutes. I mean, the show 30 minutes. So, because, a lot of people have a attention span. They don't really stay that soon. But I'm glad you stuck, you stayed until the end. Right, Anson?
Yep, we appreciate that. Yep. And it's hard to get some of this data in these small segments. So, but we appreciate the watches and everyone tuning in.
All right, guys, and that's what TXTV Network is all about, shining a light on what matters most. We thank you for tuning in, and we want to hear from your thoughts on tonight's stories. Let your voice be heard in the comments. Until next time, stay aware, stay bold, and stay connected. See you next Sunday.